Make no mistake. War is coming. With all its glory and all its horror.
Sir, that adjutant we recovered is down in the lab. She's all powered up.
Talk to me, you old piece of junk. What do you know?
User identified. Raynor, James, ex-Marshal Marsara Colony. Joined Sons of Korhal Terrorist Group. Status, criminal.
Enough about me, darling. What else you got locked up in that synthetic head of yours?
User status, criminal. Access denied.
Playing hard to get, huh? We'll see about that. Robbing a train again get you feeling nostalgic?
Damn straight. We must have hit the Shell Express a dozen times back in the day. Ah, that keeper never got old.
Almost got us killed when they smartened up and started using outriders to chase us.
Never was a man of them could keep up with you on a vulture, Jimmy. Just added to the fun. How the hell you got a job as marshal after all that? I'll never know.
Emperor, much has been written in regards to the tragic fall of Tarsonis. Toloski's investigative documentary, Imperial Dawn, even claims that you brought down the Confederate system by assuring Tarsonis' fall.
I've heard these conspiracy theories before, but the fact remains. The Zerg invaded Tarsonis en masse, and no force in the universe could have stopped their onslaught. It was a very terrible day.
Toloski's film highlights the seeming convenience of the aliens annihilating a corrupt government that you yourself spent a lifetime trying to overthrow.
Millions died that day, and you speak to me of convenience? Yes, I strove against the evils of the old Confederacy, but never with the object of personal gain. When I was called upon to take up the heavy burden of leadership, I did so only to ensure our continuing survival as a species.
Striking words from the Emperor himself. Up next, Zerglings allergic to lemon juice? Old wives' tale? Or new super weapon in the fight for humanity?
I gotta know. Just what was it went down between you and Mengsk? Seems you boys were tight once.
I used to think Mengsk be a force for change. Fought alongside him right up until Tarsonis. That's where he crossed the line, by using Zerg to murder the whole planet. He left Kerrigan there to die because she called him out on it. Turned out he was just as rotten as the Confederacy ever was.
Damn. You sure know how to pick your friends, Jimmy.
All right, Zeratul, old buddy, you got your mysterious prophecy. Now let's see what your preserver's made of it.
My quest to decipher the prophecy took me to the forbidden archive world of Zakul. Here, 3 immortal preservers guarded ancient knowledge. Only they could transcribe the prophetic fragments. I needed to seek them out quickly. It is strangely silent here, yet these structures are intact. With power, they would be functional.
Okay, so we now have control of a Protoss base, as opposed to a Terran base. There's a couple key differences with the Protoss. Main one is that they warp in buildings, so your probes here, which replace SCVs, can warp in more than one building at once. So as you see, we're going to warp in some pylons. And then the second key difference is, well, the pylons. All Protoss buildings need power. That's provided by the pylons. If they don't have power, then they don't work. See, now that it has power, these buildings will work. Pylons also provide our supply, much like supply depots for Terran.
The mighty spirits of the Preservers are imprisoned close by. We must find them.
Other than that, it works pretty much the same. You have your gatherers, you have the same resources and everything else. So, okay, so this is the gateway. It kind of is like a Protoss version of a barracks. We are going to start making stalkers immediately. You will probably remember stalkers from the last mission with Zeratul. And we're going to make them pretty much as quick as we can here. Because this mission is very tricky. Very tricky.
There are many abandoned
And if you're not careful early, you can
make
die.
use of.
So
They merely need their power restored by the construction of a few well-placed pylons.
Alright, that's our bonus objective there that Zeratul was talking about. We'll deal with that later.
The preservers you seek serve a higher power now, Dark One.
Alright, we got this stalker who came in. Gonna try and attack our base.
Higher power.
As soon as he's dead, take your two stalkers down here. Deal with that guy.
Something foul has taken hold of this.
And then we're going to build a pylon down here. Be sure to build it kind of in this back corner. If you build it over here or something, then enemies going along the road will see it and go over here and destroy this robotics facility, and you don't want that.
Facility. This structure
Just build it there in the corner, then no one will notice. Keep these stalkers coming out constantly. So what makes this mission so difficult is we have to deal with what's called the hybrid. He's going to show up here any minute. Oh, you get the devil.
Protoss and Zerg hybrid. Gods, an abomination. Who created this atrocity?
Come, my slaves. The time has come to give me your strength.
So that is the hybrid. And he is very annoying. He attacks our base about every minute and a half or so, and he hits pretty hard. He's got a ton of health, and you basically need a whole army just to take him out. He's also going to get more powerful the longer the mission takes, up to a cap, luckily, and that'll increase his health. He'll get some psionic abilities. Thankfully, it will not increase his damage, his raw damage, otherwise this would probably be impossible. But we're going to have to deal with him. So to do that, we're going to take this Immortal, and we got a free Immortal from building that pylon, and we now have the ability to build more at that robotics facility. Immortals are very nice. They have a unique shield here, and what it does is it reduces all incoming attack, any incoming attack, to 10 damage. So if he's going to hit you for 80 damage, it's only going to do 10, as long as that shield is up. So they're very good against slow, heavy-hitting units. Fast-hitting units, not so much. Slow, heavy hitters, they're quite good. So this is good. He's attacking the Immortal, and all the cannons are on him. Now he's attacking a cannon. That's not as ideal. But our stalkers are on him. He's going to warp around a bit. And there he goes. He'll be back in a couple of minutes. And he's not the only threat we have to worry about out there, though. We're going to build a few more cannons. There's also enemy bases, and they are going to be attacking us fairly regularly, actually. And so we're going to have to deal with them. And there's two approaches to this mission, really. You can, and there's achievements depending on which way you want to go. So, I mean, there's really no penalty to going either way. It's just sort of how you want to do it. You can go very fast And if you do this mission within a time limit, I think it's like 15 or 20 minutes, and destroy the 3 preservers in that time, then you get that achievement. And some people like to rush it that way. They like to just build a bunch of units and push through the base. Worth noting that achievement is for lower difficulties, and I would not recommend doing it on Brutal. Alternatively, and there is another achievement for doing it this way, you can destroy, if you destroy all the enemy bases, you get an achievement too. Now, you don't have to destroy all the bases. I might, just to kind of show you how, and, you know, because I think it makes it much easier. That will take a lot longer. And the trade-off to doing the mission in a longer amount of time is that the hybrid will grow much more powerful, you know, as the mission goes on. So, trade-offs. But that is the way I like to do it. So we're going to get our upgrades going. We're going to keep working on saturation. And as you can see, we got a lot of attacks coming at us from multiple fronts. So you can hopefully see why I like the idea of taking out the bases. Because if you take out the other bases, then the attacks will stop. And then you just need to worry about the hybrid and pushing forward. So now we want to always be building. I'm going to build a bunch of photon cannons on this side. The hybrid goes around each side. And what we're going to do is we're going to build up our army. And we're not ready to do this yet. But once we get there, we are going to move our army out in between hybrid attacks, and we're going to attack the base that's to our west. Excuse me, our east. And then, and that's why we're building so many photon cannons on the west, to defend it when the army is gone. And we can destroy that base fairly easily. And there's a couple of reasons. I mean, in addition to lessening attacks, we also kind of need to destroy that base to do our bonus objective. It's in the way. So we're going to do that first, and then once that's dealt with, we can focus on the base that is to the west, which in my opinion is a bit easier, because at that point our army will be much more built up. Now I am going to build a few more construction buildings here in our base, and we also could probably use a few pylons. Get him back to work. Our immortal up there. Alright, so here comes the hybrid. And ideally, okay, he's starting to get psionics now. Later we can counter that once we get the feedback ability with our High Templars, but that won't be till we destroy the first base.
You cannot destroy me. I shall rise again.
I'm going to pop up here with your army real quick and just make sure that this site is cleared. This is another one of our bonus objectives. Looks like there's one zealot there.
Dark shrine.
So we'll have a pylon built. We'll bring these guys back to the base. Once we have that, we will be able to create Dark Templar, which are pretty good. They're not really good against the hybrid, because Dark Templar hit really hard, but... oh, no. But they don't have a lot of health. And their defense is that they are normally invisible. Oh my goodness, we're losing a lot of guys. They're normally invisible, but the hybrid is a detector and he can see them, so... Dark Templar are not super effective, but a couple free units is always nice. And, I mean, we could theoretically turn them into an Archon, which is not actually that bad against the hybrid.
Join me, brothers, and we shall cleanse this place of evil.
We lost quite a few guys on that last attack. But I think we're going to be alright. Okay, so we just had an attack from the one side, we did an attack from this side, and we dealt with the hybrid. So right now, in my opinion, is the perfect time to push on the other base. because we know they're not going to be able to push back right away. So be sure to always keep guys coming out of your manufacturing. Mortals in the front, preferably. And we're going to move in. Now, as I was saying earlier with the pylons, that's kind of the main weakness of the Protoss base. So if you destroy the pylons, it shuts down other buildings. Alright, so the hybrid's coming. I think we're going to pull back here and go wait for him.
Very well.
And then after we've dealt with this hybrid attack, we can take our slightly larger army now and go and attack them again. That's why it's important to always keep units being built. Alright, down he goes. Grab these Dark Templar too, I forgot we had them. We're going to swing in from the top, and our objective here, as far as my plan goes, is we're going to deal with as many guys as they want to have come up here at us, but we are mostly going to focus on destroying their Nexus and their probes. And they might, sometimes they'll send probes over from another base to rebuild if they need to, but usually they don't. So if we take out their probes and their Nexus, this base is kind of just going to stagnate. We can chip away at it. Stalker there. We got that pylon. We got a hybrid incoming. Take out these probes though first, if we can. Alright, let's get out of here. We should be able to get back to the base about the same time as the hybrid. Got a few guys and a bunch of cannons in the meantime to keep him busy. Yep, there he is. Here we come. Now he will absolutely rip our cannons apart, but I mean they're not really meant to deal with him. They're more to ward off other people while we are attacking the base over here. So we don't have as much saturation as I thought we did, and we need to construct additional pylons. Alright, we have guys coming in from the other side. Our cannons should be able to deal with that just fine. Alright, so that is the first base, is gone. We're going to expand over here. Once we head back and deal with the incoming hybrid, that is.
You must construct additional pylons.
We'll have a probe build some of those additional pylons for us at our new base. So, deal with the hybrid. He'll probably teleport behind us here in a minute. There we go. And I'm just going to take a few minutes to kind of get this new little base built up. It's not going to be a huge base, probably just Nexus, a couple of pylons for our bonus objective, and maybe a few more. Put some cannons around. Also, I mean, we just need pylons. We'll put a few guys harvesting over there. Won't need too many because at some point fairly soon we're going to start to run out of minerals at our main base and we'll just move people over there. Now one nice thing I've noticed is the hybrid doesn't attack your expansion. He just kind of ignores it. I assume if he destroyed your main base, then he would go and look for your expansion and attack it. But you don't really need to worry about defending it too much. I might just build 1 or 2 photon cannons just in case something comes at us. Alright, hybrid inbound. blink our stalkers around there so he's nice and surrounded. All right. And I'm gonna build a few guys over here just to kind of get a little more income. We got a pretty decent army now. Comes an attack from the other enemy base. I don't want to attack it just yet. I think we have a pretty good army here, but I'm worried that if we attack it now, it'll kind of beat up our army, and then they won't be able to deal with the hybrid. I want to just kind of get our economy up a little bit again and get our production going. And then once we have more units coming out, we can go and attack the base with this army. But we'll just face the hybrid right here. It's coming this way anyway. There we go. And I'm going to take out some of these little outlying buildings and groups of enemies here. You don't want to miss these little pylons out here, or else you won't get the achievement. And there's a little group here at the base of the bridge. Now we control the bridge, and this is very important, because the hybrid always crosses the bridge. So what we can do is just leave our main hybrid fighting army here, and whenever he crosses the bridge, they're going to deal with him, and we don't have to worry about making sure that everybody's in the right place. Okay, then we have our High Templar coming around. We're going to use feedback on the hybrid this time, which if we get it on him before he can use any of his abilities, well, not quite, but there we go. Now he can't use any more. So everybody take him out. All right, excellent. Why do I have those saved as my hotkey for the, okay.
Mineral field depleted.
Gonna keep our army coming here. And at this point, like I said, yep, our, this base is kind of starting to outgrow the amount of guys we have, so we're gonna send all of them over here. And actually that worked out perfectly, so. Thinking we're going to deal with, we'll deal with this hybrid attack, and then I'm going to take our main army to attack the other base.
You must construct additional pylons.
There he is. The High Templar in there. I don't think it matters at this point. He already used all his energy up. Oh no, don't attack the High Templar. Ah!
You must construct additional pylons. Base is under attack.
Oh, okay. So that base just sent a big attack at ours, which is fine. We didn't have enough cannons to deal with it, but luckily we had our second army that we were working on there. So this is actually a very good time to attack because their base is empty. More or less. So there's two entrances. There's one up here and one down here. I like to go in through this one because it takes us right in by their nexus. Watch out for those sonic storms. And focus air units with your stalkers. We're going to blink them in. Actually did quite a bit of damage to us. Okay, we're going to pull back here because they destroyed all of our stalkers, and our immortals are very powerful, but they cannot attack air. So hopefully... Oh, those void rays are just going to keep following us. Oh, this is a disaster. That's okay. Sometimes you are just going to have those bad pushes, and what matters is that you can come back from them. That's why it's so important that we had another army being built, because otherwise, I mean, if that would have been our only army, the hybrid would have just taken us out right here. Game over.
We are one with the
Okay.
shadows. I return to serve.
Well, we're going to push forward, and I'm going to take the bridge again.
Here in the shadows.
And I'm thinking actually this time we're going to go in through the other entrance. We're going to leave them there. There are stalkers, a couple of immortals. The mortals are really powerful for taking out buildings because they do so much damage to armored, and it's very powerful. How are we? Oh, okay, we need to do our last research too. I forgot about that. On your playthrough, do this sooner. This would have saved us a lot of trouble, probably. We might not have even have died back there in that base.
I return to serve. I return to serve. I am the heart of darkness. I am the voice of the eclipse.
All right.
I am here in the shadows. State thy bidding. Very well.
So I think I'm going to take this new army we were forming,
I return to
combine them with the stalkers from our original army. The immortals should be able to deal with the hybrid pretty well on their own. We're just going to move in here. We got a lot more guys now. Target the pylons, target the stalkers and the archons.
I return to serve.
Alright, how are these guys doing? They should be fine against that hybrid. If he becomes a little more than they can handle, our other army is not far off. But they're holding out just fine. If there wasn't for the air units, and there are some air units like those Void Rays, and there's actually a few carriers in the main base, you could probably do this whole mission with just Archons, or excuse me, Immortals. I haven't tried doing this mission with just Archons. Archons might actually be very effective, but also very expensive. So, okay, we're gonna grab our. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of guys we have left up here. We're going to grab these guys and bring them down here to build a new base here. Even though we probably don't need an extra base down here, at this point it's mostly just to keep them from sneaking a probe out and rebuilding that base, which they will do. I've had it happen on playthroughs, so.
Cold is the void. Let our enemy know our fury.
Alright, so we're going to get everybody together. And now, in between hybrid attacks, is when we're going to start kind of pushing in on their base inside there. And this base is easily the hardest one to take, as you would expect from the last base. Mainly because we got to get across the bridge, and it's just hard to like get in there and deal with them, and then also be able to retreat if we need to. It's just pretty tricky, actually. So we're gonna wait for this next hybrid attack because you do not want to try and deal with the hybrid and the base at the same time. You will die horribly. Alright, but we're taking them out nice and easy now. I'm actually going to put these Stalkers and the Immortals in two groups. We're going to send the Immortals in first. And they're going to deal with all the ground units. And then our Stalkers here are going to be able to blink over. And they are going to target the air units that are coming from this side, which are the real threat to the Immortals. There's another one. Because Void Rays are, with that constant beam, are the natural counter to Immortals. And look at that, we lost a ton of guys on that push. But actually, we took out almost, pretty much all of their military, with a section of, maybe there's a Zealot. Not too worried about that Zealot. Gotta keep guys coming all the time. Get more harvest going on over here. Okay. So it's important to keep the pressure up. Destroy units first. Focus air units with your stalkers. And then take out their Stargate, that's the name of it, as soon as you can, and then you won't need to worry about the air units. And actually, at this point, we could probably sneak over and just focus on the preservers. I'm gonna just unite with our other troops on the other side of the bridge here and deal with this hybrid attack. But I'm just gonna show you how to destroy the whole base, like I said I would. And now that we've taken out this first half and we don't have the air units to worry about, it's kind of easy, because like I said, you really only need the Immortals for this mission, and the only thing the Mortals really are threatened by is those air units, and now they're gone. Unless they rebuild them. So it is pivotal to not let them. Oh, okay, so we got one more. Maybe there is a second Stargate I didn't know about. But as always, targeting the pylons first is a good tactic. Maybe taking out photon cannons as needed. Alright. Just grab the hybrid here. We got enough Immortals, we can burn them down. We don't have a lot of Stalkers at the moment, but we don't really need them at this point. I'm going to keep making more, though, just in case. Always good practice. As Tychus likes to say, pays to be prepared. Okay, so they do have a second Stargate. Well, they had one. Now they don't. Alright, and at this point it's just kind of mopping it up. Make sure no probes escape to rebuild. There we go. I believe that is all of the structures. So there you go. If you want to do it that way, you can. If you want, actually, if you want me to do an achievement guide on how to do this quickly, like on the speedrun, I could do a separate video or something. If you want to see me do any achievement guides, be sure to say something in the comments, because that actually might be something I could be happy to do, if that's something that you want.
Spirits of the preservers are entombed within.
Alright, then move in and take out the preservers, and we can do it before the hybrid even comes back. And now he is dead. And I'm glad he's dead.
We've seen the prophetic fragments in your mind, Senator. We will make of them what we can. The cycle shall draw to its end. The Zelnaga who forged the stars will transcend their creation. Yet the Fallen One shall remain, destined to cover the void in shadow. It begins with the great hunger. It ends in utter darkness.
A great hungerer. Could it refer to the Zerg Overmind? It has a part to play in this prophecy. I must seek out the Overmind's final resting place, our ancient homeworld of Ire.